Hey everyone, I'm Vlad, and before we jump into today's topic, just wanted to say a quick, huge thank you to all our newsletter readers. Seriously, your engagement means the world. Okay, let's get into it. Today we're doing a deep dive into something that, well, it really holds the potential to reshape our future, artificial intelligence. Specifically, we're going to be dissecting a really significant document, America's AI Action Plan. This was just published last month, July 2025, by the White House.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is how this plan isn't just some dry technical paper. It lays out a pretty comprehensive roadmap for the United States to, well, achieve and maintain global tech dominance in AI. It positions AI not just as, another technological step forward, but really as a national security imperative, and
Yeah.
even as a pathway to what the document calls a new golden age of human flourishing, economic competitiveness, and national security. Quite a claim.
That is a bold declaration. Framing AI as an industrial revolution, an information revolution, and a renaissance all at once.
Wow. So, our mission today, essentially, is to pull out the most critical insights from this really dense plan, understand its three core pillars, and, what they could actually mean for you, for innovation, for jobs, and, yeah, for America's strategic position in the world.
Precisely. We'll be trying to distill the key strategies across innovation, infrastructure, and international diplomacy. We'll highlight specific actions the plan recommends the government should take, and we'll explore not just what the plan says, but maybe touch on why it seems to matter, providing some broader context and implications. And crucially, just to be clear up front, we'll be impartially reporting on the content. We're not here to endorse any specific viewpoints in the document, just, convey the ideas presented in the source material itself.
Okay, sounds good. Let's dive into Pillar I then. Accelerate AI innovation. This pillar, it really seems focused on creating an environment where AI development can just, well, explode. What's the core strategy here? Yeah, the primary focus is pretty aggressive, actually. It's about removing what the plan itself calls red tape and onerous regulation. It explicitly recommends rescinding the Biden administration's Executive Order 14110 on AI. The stated intent seems clear: prevent bureaucracy from stifling AI development right at this early critical stage. And it also takes a pretty firm stance, suggesting federal funding shouldn't go to states that impose what it deems burdensome AI regulations.
Okay, so it's really about minimizing government interference, almost like a hands-off approach to let innovation run free. But that sounds like a pretty sharp turn, doesn't it? Especially rescinding an existing executive order like that. Does the plan talk about any potential, trade-offs or risks with that approach, or is the focus just purely on speed and growth?
Well, the plan's emphasis is overwhelmingly on speed and competitive advantage. It
Yeah.
seems to view these regulations primarily as direct impediments to rapid innovation. From its perspective, I think the risk of not accelerating development quickly enough actually outweighs the risks of potential, maybe unchecked growth in these early stages. It really prioritizes preventing bureaucracy from creating barriers, especially for new AI companies and researchers. That seems crucial to its goal of maintaining a competitive edge against global rivals.
Right, that's a critical distinction in its viewpoint. And it touches on another really interesting area, this idea of ensuring frontier AI protects free speech and American values. The plan mentions revising the NIST AI risk management framework. Now, this is a framework a lot of people might know used for evaluating AI systems. But it proposes eliminating references to things like misinformation, diversity, equity and inclusion, and climate change.
Mm.
And it even suggests evaluating Chinese models specifically for alignment with Communist Party talking points. What's the implication of that kind of shift?
It signals a pretty profound shift in how federal AI systems are envisioned and vetted. The plan clearly states that AI systems the federal government procures should be, and I'm quoting here, free from ideological bias and designed to pursue objective truth rather than social engineering agendas.
Hmm.
Now, so, by eliminating those specific references from the NIST framework, the plan seems to aim to ensure that federally backed AI models prioritize what it defines as objective functionality and performance, rather than incorporating what it views as potentially subjective or maybe politically charged social engineering directives. It's about making sure the AI's values align with what the document defines as core American principles, explicitly removing what it considers sort of extraneous ideological influences.
Hmm. Okay. Given this push for rapid innovation and this very specific vision for AI values, it kind of raises a question about who is meant to be doing the innovating. Does the plan encourage more decentralized development, like, say, through open source AI? Or is it mainly focused on the big, established players?
Oh, it absolutely advocates for encouraging open source and open weight AI. Yeah, the plan sees these as essential for fostering innovation, especially, for startups and academic research. And to sort of democratize access to the huge amount of computing power needed, it even talks about developing something called a financial market for compute. Think of it like a commodity market where you buy and sell raw materials, but instead it's access to large-scale computing power. This could potentially make those immense computing capabilities, which are often locked up by the big tech companies, much more accessible to smaller entities, which would be a game changer.
Okay, that is interesting. Now, maybe one of the most immediate and tangible impacts for you listening revolves around jobs. The plan talks quite a bit about a worker-first AI agenda. What does that actually mean for the American workforce, according to this plan?
The plan paints a very optimistic picture here. It anticipates AI will complement their work, not replacing it. That's the key phrase, by accelerating productivity and creating entirely new industries. And it details some significant steps to support that vision. For example, it prioritizes AI skill development in education and existing workforce funding streams. It talks about exploring tax-free reimbursement for AI training and establishing an AI workforce research hub under the Department of Labor. This hub would specifically study AI's impact on the labor market and, importantly, identify ways to rapidly retrain workers into these new roles that AI is expected to create.
So the vision isn't displacement. It's more like augmentation and creating new opportunities. That's a powerful narrative, isn't it? Especially for workers maybe worried about automation. And the plan also touches on supporting next-gen manufacturing, AI-enabled science, building world-class scientific data sets. I mean, that's incredibly broad. Was there a surprising detail in those areas that really jumped out at you?
Yeah, there was one truly fascinating recommendation, I thought. It's exploring the creation of a whole genome sequencing program for life on federal lands. The idea here is to gather just vast amounts of new biological data, essentially creating a massive sovereign data set to train future biological foundation models. This isn't just data collection, it's a really bold play to establish a unique biodiverse resource, which could potentially give the U.S. an unparalleled advantage in training future AI models for everything from, say, drug discovery to advanced materials, creating a kind of unique data moat that rivals would really struggle to replicate.
Wow. That really shows the immense ambition, doesn't it? Extending AI right into fundamental scientific data collection itself. Okay, and finally, in this first pillar, the plan discusses AI interpretability, control, and robustness, and building an AI evaluations ecosystem. Why are these aspects so crucial, especially for these really advanced AI systems?
Oh, they're absolutely vital. I mean, the inner workings of these frontier AI systems are often, frankly, poorly understood, which makes their behavior hard to predict, especially as the plan notes in high-stakes national security domains. So the plan calls for fundamental breakthroughs in these areas. It proposes initiatives like AI hackathons, for instance, to rigorously test systems for transparency and security vulnerabilities. This really intense push for explainable, controllable, and reliable AI is just foundational for building trust and ensuring widespread adoption, not just in government, but, for you as a user interacting with AI more and more.
Right, that makes sense. So what does all this mean for the government itself adopting AI within its own operations? Is it pushing that too?
Oh, yes, absolutely. The plan puts a significant emphasis on accelerating AI adoption within government agencies themselves. It proposes things like formalizing AI councils, creating talent exchange programs with the private sector, and even mandating that federal employees whose work could clearly benefit from frontier language models have access to and appropriate training for such tools. So that indicates a really strong internal push for efficiency and effectiveness, not just developing AI for the outside world, but integrating it right into the machinery of government.
Okay, so fostering innovation and pushing for internal adoption inside government is clearly key. But as we know, even the best ideas and tools need a strong foundation, right? Which leads us directly into Pillar 2, as build American AI infrastructure. And the plan makes a truly, monumental claim here about energy. It says, AI is the first digital service in modern life that challenges America to build vastly greater energy generation than we have today. It's quite a statement.
It is indeed a huge statement. The plan basically asserts that America's path to AI dominance absolutely hinges on dramatically increasing our energy capacity, which, it notes, has largely stagnated since the 1970s. So a core strategy is streamlined permitting. for data centers, for semiconductor manufacturing facilities, for energy infrastructure itself. By reforming regulations under cornerstone acts like NEPA, the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, it even suggests making federal lands available for construction, and it cites build, baby, build as its driving motto in this area. It's a very clear signal for an all-out effort to unblock construction bottlenecks.
Oh, build, baby, build. That's a very clear call to action on deregulation for infrastructure. And it also explicitly mentions securing this infrastructure against, adversarial technology, ensuring the domestic AI computing stack is built on American products.
Exactly. It really underscores the profound national security aspect of the infrastructure, not just the physical buildings, but the whole digital backbone that supports AI. Furthermore, it addresses the U.S. electric grid directly, outlining a comprehensive strategy to stabilize and optimize what we already have, while prioritizing new, reliable power sources. It mentions things like enhanced geothermal, nuclear fission, and nuclear fusion specifically to meet that rapidly escalating demand from AI data centers.
Okay. Building all this energy and data center infrastructure is one massive piece, but none of it runs without the literal brains of AI, the semiconductors. The plan talks a lot about restoring American semiconductor manufacturing. What's the core strategy there? That's been such a hot topic lately, hasn't it?
It's a massive focus, yes. The plan aims to bring semiconductor manufacturing capacity, like the really advanced fabrication, back to U.S. soil, not just assembly. And the emphasis seems to be on ensuring a strong return on investment for the American taxpayer in this whole process. Crucially, it also pushes for accelerating the integration of advanced AI tools directly into the semiconductor manufacturing process itself, making chip production itself smarter, faster, more efficient, more innovative. So it's about bolstering economic strength, yes, but also very much about securing critical supply chains against geopolitical risks.
What about the people? The actual people needed to build all this physical and digital infrastructure. It mentions training a skilled workforce specifically for AI infrastructure.
Yeah, absolutely. The plan specifically identifies high-priority occupations essential to the build-out of AI-related infrastructure. And these aren't just software engineers. These are roles like electricians, HVAC technicians, specialized construction workers, really the hands-on talent required to build and maintain these massive facilities. It proposes things like industry-driven training programs, expanding early career exposure to these trades, and leveraging registered apprenticeships to address what it sees as critical job shortages in these areas. So this directly connects that grand vision of AI infrastructure back to creating high-paying, accessible jobs for American workers on the ground.
Okay, and finally, in this infrastructure pillar, it talks about bolstering critical infrastructure cybersecurity and promoting secure by design AI technologies. What are the key takeaways there? How do we ensure these AI foundations are actually robust?
Well, the plan definitely acknowledges AI's dual-use potential. It can be a powerful tool for cyber offense and defense. So to counteract threats, it proposes establishing an AI Information Sharing and Analysis Center, an AI ISAC. You can think of it like a rapid response intelligence hub specifically for AI-related cyber threats, making sure that if one utility or sector faces an AI-enabled attack, others are immediately aware and can prepare. It also really emphasizes the need for AI systems used in safety-critical areas or homeland security applications to be secure by design, robust, and resilient against sophisticated attacks, like data poisoning, for instance, where bad actors try to corrupt the AI models with malicious data.
Okay, that covers innovation and infrastructure. So our final pillar, pillar the third, lead in international AI diplomacy and security. This sounds like the geopolitical dimension of AI. What's the overarching goal here for America's role on the global stage, according to the plan?
Yeah, the goal here seems pretty clear. Leverage America's current leadership in data centers, computing hardware, advanced AI models to essentially drive adoption of American AI systems, computing hardware, and standards throughout the world. It explicitly frames this as preventing rivals from, quote, free riding on our innovation and investment, and ensuring that allies build their technological future primarily on American products and, importantly, American ethical frameworks.
So it's really about exporting the full AI technology stack, as they call it, to allies.
Yeah.
And actively countering, say, Chinese influence in international bodies.
Precisely. The plan outlines efforts to vigorously advocate for international AI governance approaches that promote innovation, reflect American values, and counter authoritarian influence. And it specifically calls out Chinese companies for attempting to shape standards for technologies like facial recognition and surveillance. It signals a very proactive stance to make sure American-aligned values get embedded in global AI norms, not authoritarian ones.
Right. And that ties into strengthening AI compute export control enforcement. What specific ideas are mentioned there to protect American AI advantages? Any interesting tech angles?
Yeah, one pretty interesting technical idea mentioned is exploring location verification features on advanced AI compute chips. The idea is to try and ensure that these powerful chips aren't secretly diverted to countries of concern after being sold. It also calls for new, tighter export controls on things called semiconductor manufacturing subsystems to plug existing loopholes. And this is significant because America and its allies hold near monopolies on many of these critical components needed to actually produce the most advanced chips. It's about maintaining a chokehold, essentially, on the most sensitive enabling technologies.
And beyond just America's own controls, it sounds like the plan is aiming for broader alignment globally with allies on this.
Absolutely. The plan clearly aims to induce key allies to adopt complementary AI protection systems and export controls across the entire supply chain. It even suggests using pretty robust tools like the Foreign Direct Product Rule, which basically means U.S. export controls can apply to foreign-made items if they're derived from certain U.S. tech, and potentially even secondary tariffs if allies don't follow U.S. controls. The stated goal is achieving greater international alignment on AI security, essentially getting everyone on the same page, the U.S.'s page.
Okay, this definitely sounds like a very proactive, maybe even aggressive and protective stance on maintaining AI leadership. And it also mentions evaluating national security risks in these frontier models and investing heavily in biosecurity. That sounds pretty serious.
It is extremely serious. The plan explicitly recognizes that these powerful AI systems might pose novel national security risks, particularly in areas like sophisticated cyber attacks, or maybe even aiding the development of chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, or explosive CBRNE weapons. It also directly addresses biosecurity concerns, stating that AI could create new pathways for malicious actors to synthesize harmful pathogens and other biomolecules, which is quite alarming. So to counter this, it proposes requiring federal funding recipients, like universities or labs, to use robust nucleic acid synthesis screening and customer verification procedures, trying to lock down that potential vector.
Wow. Okay, what an exhaustive deep dive into America's AI action plan. I mean, from fostering innovation and building truly robust infrastructure all the way to leading on the global stage. This document really does lay out a comprehensive vision for, well, American AI dominance. And it seems set to impact pretty much everything: jobs, energy, national security, even fundamental scientific discovery.
Yeah, if you connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights a unified, quite aggressive government strategy. The goal is clearly to ensure the United States not only stays at the forefront of this transformative technology, but actively shapes its global trajectory. It emphasizes the need for speed, for deregulation, for a strong domestic ecosystem, while at the same time trying to navigate these really complex geopolitical challenges and address the potential dual-use risks involved.
So, thinking about this, what does this all potentially mean for you listening right now? This plan, it really envisions an America where AI touches nearly every aspect of life, from how you work and learn to the security of the nation itself. It presents a future where AI unlocks, quote, limitless potential, but also requires, quote, constant vigilance against misuse. So as you reflect on all this, maybe consider this provocative thought. If AI indeed ushers in, as the plan boldly claims, an industrial revolution, an information revolution, and a renaissance all at once, how might your daily life and the world around you be fundamentally different just a decade from now? Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and stay well informed.